Today on the Right Garage, I will be starting the exciting yet dreadful task of replacing new body panels on my Mini. These are all the new body panels I just picked up. I got the front panel, both fenders. I got this piece here. Actually, I only need the taillight section for here. That's for underneath here, and then down here in the corner. I got the entire front valance and the rear valance, or excuse me, this is the front scuttle. And then I also got some sheet metal, that way I can go ahead and redo the trunk floor, just part of it, because the entire trunk floor cost about $300 and I'm not interested in spending that. So, yep, so I'm going to use that, shape it up a little bit, and then replace the parts that are rusted out. So the first thing I'm going to do here is in the trunk or the boot, remove the gas tank to get that out of the way. Remove the boot lid or trunk lid. Go ahead and take out the tail light. That way I can get to that section. Battery, of course, because anytime you're doing welding or anything, you want to take the battery out. I don't have a computer or anything, so that's good. Yeah, and then I'll go ahead and grind it out, find out where the fresh metal is, find out how big I need to make my new panel exactly. This is just a 19-inch diameter that I made, but I might need to come out a little bit more depending on how far out the rust is. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's rusted out all around the edge. So that's what I'm going to be starting on. I took my Mini out for one last drive yesterday, because I knew that this car is probably going to be out of commission for at least a month while I'm doing this project. Okay, and we're back. The first thing I did was I removed the trunk lid, which is right there. I went ahead and removed it. It's a 7/16 socket right here for the 4 bolts that hold the trunk on, and then just a Phillips head screw to remove the straps that attach, so the trunk doesn't continue to fall. Then I removed the rear bumper, which was size was that? I had to use a 10mm actually. I don't know if those are aftermarket bolts. I'm assuming they are, because everything should be standard on this car. But it was a 10mm, 3 10mm bolts. There was one here, one in the middle, and then one on the other side. And that just removed the rear bumper. I removed the gas tank. Alright, and we're back. I went ahead and ground down to find the freshest metal I could to where I'm going to weld on my new plate. I don't know how we're going to be able to see this. Should be okay though. But you can see these are the rust holes here. I mean, they pretty much go, so I had to go about another inch in order to hit metal that I can actually start welding to and put my new piece on. The only part I'm concerned about is right here, although it's pretty solid. So I'll probably cut on the outside of that just to avoid that. But it's pretty solid metal all the way around. Alright, I've got my piece of metal cut out, my pattern. I actually went ahead and started shaping it a little bit too. Now this is what the old one looked like, of course. And then this one here, remember I cut the next piece out. I've already got it outlined and everything. So my next step is just going to be cut it out. Now when you cut it, you're going to make sure that you cut on the inside of your pattern. Alright, so that's the new one. Now when you trace it out, use a thick marker or something so you can still see it. And then when you cut it out, make sure you cut on the inside of the line, because it's always easier to grind it out to make it bigger if need be. But if you cut it too big, you're going to have a real difficult time. You're going to have to start making little tiny patches, or even probably just be better cutting out a whole new pattern. But I already ground down the edges, as you can see as well. And that's to get a good contact for my tack and for the weld. So, yep, that's where we're at. Alright, and it's out. Now with the old and with the new, I gotta clean up those edges, and then we'll do a test fit of the panel. Alright, so I got it welded in, and I went ahead and put some body filler on top of the welds after I ground them down, just so once I sand it all down I can get it nice and smooth in there before I go ahead and paint it. Underneath, I'm going to do an undercoat paint, and I'm probably just going to leave it black actually, so I'll just probably put a couple layers of black undercoat paint on it. But yep, so that's where we're at so far with the trunk. So I got it all sanded down. I sanded the Bondo down, and I went ahead and cleaned it out first, and then I put a nice coat of paint on there just to make it all nice and even looking. And I think it looks, well, first off, it obviously looks better than it did because it had rust holes through it. But man, I'm just very happy with the way this came out. And yep. So, I mean, there it is. And now I'll be on to the outer body panels, which I'm excited but also dreading. So, catch you then.